Hey, what's going on, guys? K-Dog's Kennel coming at you here on YouTube super late at night with my NFL picks for week 5. Kind of going to blow through these fairly quickly. Just got off work a little bit ago, and I am exhausted. So, like I said, I'm going to kind of blitz through these fairly quickly. Um, that way I can get something to eat and I can get my happy butt to bed. Starting off last week, very respectable 12-4. Actually, I went upset crazy last week, and 3 of the 4 upsets I nailed, which was really cool. Going 12-4, bringing us up to 40, 25, and 1 for the season. So not bad. I think we're doing better than what we did last year at this time. But going into it is just after midnight now, so starting with tonight's game, the 1-2-1 Indianapolis Colts taking on the 2-2 Denver Broncos. Colts, I've already ruled out Jonathan Taylor for this game. The Colts have been kind of wishy-washy this year. I got the Broncos going over because it's at home. Javonte Booker, is that his name? Running back for Denver, out for the year, torn ACL, torn MCL, completely done for the year. But I like Denver at home. Every time I pick Indianapolis, they either tie or they lose. So can't really have a whole lot of faith in them. Moving on to Sunday morning, 3-1 New York Giants taking on the 3-1 Green Bay Packers in London. This is a home game for Green Bay. This is a very interesting game because honestly, the Packers at 3-1, it doesn't feel like they should be 3-1. Their offense has not clicked. They've not found a rhythm on offense. Romeo Dubes is starting to emerge as a good receiver. Alan Lazard, still a good receiver. But the Giants have this guy named Saquon Barkley, who's really, really, really good. And the Packers' run defense is absolute ass. It's absolute booty. But I have to pick a winner, and I've got to go with the Packers. I just think that as good as the Giants are showing, I think on paper, I think Green Bay is the better team. That's why I've got in my gut. Green Bay, oddly enough, Green Bay is the 32nd team. It is going to be official after Sunday. All 32 teams have now played a game overseas in London since they started playing there a couple years ago. It might be longer than a couple years, I'm not sure, but I got the Packers over the Giants. Moving on to the 1-3 Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the 3-1 Buffalo Bills. I've got the Bills all day in this game. Kenny Pickett will be making his first career start for Pittsburgh, and it might be his last. Because as bad as Pittsburgh's offensive line is, I think the Buffalo Bills, that front seven, is going to eat them for lunch, which means Mr. Kenny Pickett, you might get taken out come Sunday because, Buffalo's going to feast on that offensive line. I've got the Bills going over. The Bills with that thrilling come from behind win last week against Baltimore. Pittsburgh is nowhere near what Baltimore is or was. That's why I got Buffalo going over in that game. Next up, the 2-2 LA Chargers taking on the 2-2 Cleveland Browns. The Browns, kind of like the Colts, every time I pick them, they lose. So I'm not going to make that mistake. I'm going to take the Chargers in this game. Chargers, Justin Herbert, I think of his name, looked kind of true to form. After coming back from that rib injury he suffered against Kansas City a couple weeks ago. Might be getting Keenan Allen back. Austin Eckler was just an absolute monster on the ground. The Browns, I think they're just kind of coasting by until Deshaun Watson comes back from his suspension. But, the tandem of Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, very, formidable running back duo. But like I said, every time I pick the Browns, they lose. So, you know what? I'm not going to pick them this week. We're going to go with the Chargers. Next up, the 0-3-1 Houston Texans taking on the surprising 2-2 Jacksonville Jaguars. I got the Jaguars going over this game. I don't think that the Texans are going to go winless this year, but I just think that the way Jacksonville is playing, they jumped out to a 14-0 lead on Philadelphia last week, just could not keep their foot on the accelerator, which was unfortunate because I actually thought maybe Jacksonville could pull it off. I picked Philly last week, but this game I've got Jacksonville going over. I think the Texans are due for a win, just not against Jacksonville, especially at home. But when I say the words at home, doesn't generally mean a whole lot, but I'm going to take the Jaguars nonetheless. Next up, 2-2 Chicago Bears taking on the 3-1 Minnesota Vikings. I've got the Vikings going over in this game. It's at home. It's not a primetime game. Kirk Cousins usually struggles in primetime games. This is not going to be a primetime game whatsoever. The Bears are absolute ass. I've said that every week. Justin Fields cannot do everything on his own. Khalil Herbert, was it last week? No, it might have been a couple weeks ago when he had that flash of brilliance, thinking, okay, maybe the Bears have a running game. The Bears got nothing. The Bears are absolute ass. So I got the Vikings all day in Minneapolis. Next up, 1-3 Detroit Lions against the 1-3 New England Patriots. The Lions were in a shootout with the Seattle Seahawks. I think they lost 48-45 or whatever it was. Complete shocker in that regard. The fact of the matter is the Patriots might be down to third-string quarterback Bailey Zappi, Brian Jordan, and I don't know why my Steam account just popped up on my other monitor. Thank you. Be that as it may, though, Zappi nearly took the Patriots to a win in Lambeau Field. I don't know if that's a credit to Bailey Zappi or, as my cats are now running across the floor, or if it's just that if you guys hear that, I'm sorry. Like I said, they're just my oldest cat and my youngest cat are playing with each other. So, but I'm going to go with Detroit. I'm very reluctant to pick Detroit. But, when you can put 45 points on the board, I don't think they'll do that to New England. But I'm hoping that the Patriots struggle enough to where, the Lions can capitalize on that. And plus, I like the Lions. I want the Lions to succeed. They've just been kind of getting bad breaks. They got a bad break against Minnesota a couple weeks ago. They got a bad break last week against Seattle. They're due to break through that glass ceiling. And beating New England at New England could be a step in the right direction. I'm taking the Lions over the Patriots. Speaking of the Seahawks, 2-2 Seattle Seahawks taking on the 1-3 New Orleans Saints. I've got the Seattle Seahawks going over in this game on the road. Geno Smith is out to prove the doubters wrong. He's out to prove everybody wrong that, he's just this backup quarterback that just can't get the job done. And you know what? When the season started, I kind of felt that way. I'm like, Geno Smith, man, what the hell? Like, what is Seattle tanking this year? What the hell? But Geno's played very well. And Rashad Penny had a great game against Detroit. He's still got Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. That's two, great receivers. And the Saints, they almost beat the Vikings. They should have beat the Vikings, or at least tied it. But thanks to the double doink in London, that was not the case. But I'm taking Seattle over New Orleans on the road. Next up, 2-2 Tennessee Titans taking on the 1-3 Washington Commanders. I, honest to God, thought about taking the Commanders in this game because, yes, the Commanders are bad, but they're going to win more than one game. But the Titans, I picked Indianapolis. That was one of the 4 games I lost is the Titans and the Colts because I, honest to God, thought the Colts at home had a shot. And it's one of those things. Indianapolis, like they came alive in the second half, but like you can't play a half of football and expect to win the game. I am taking Tennessee in this game just because the Commanders are shit. Carson Wentz is shit. That whole team is ass. The Texans might have the worst record in the league, but honestly, the Commanders might be the worst team in the league because at least Houston can put up some points. But be that as it may, give me a dose of Derrick Henry, run that shit down, Washington's defense, and I got the Titans over the Commanders. I do have a couple of these games I completely missed. I'm going to have to do them after the Monday night game because this is how I have them listed. When I started doing this, like I said, it's after 12 o'clock. I'm exhausted. I realized I only had 14 games, not 16, so the other noon games we'll get to here at the end. Next up on my list, I have the 4-0 Philadelphia Eagles taking on the 2-2 Arizona Cardinals. First place Arizona Cardinals, I might add. It's because all 4 teams in the NFC West are tied 2-2. But I've got the Eagles going over in this game. I don't think the Eagles they're not going to go undefeated by a long shot. But I don't trust the Cardinals. If DeAndre Hopkins was playing in this game, I would take the Cardinals probably all day. But I like the Eagles. The Eagles are undefeated. They're undefeated for a reason. The Eagles are a great team. They're going to win. I have no doubt they're going to win the NFC East. It's just going to be a matter of by how much. That being said, it's hard to go against the momentum of Philadelphia right now. So that's why I like Philadelphia over Arizona. Next up, 3-1 Dallas Cowboys taking on the 2-2 LA Rams. I've got the Rams going over in a bounce back game. Again, Cooper Rush going to be starting for Dallas. I've said, it's hard to not ride with Cooper Rush until he loses a game. But I think the Rams, after being shellacked by the 49ers this past Monday on Monday Night Football, I think are going to be out to make a statement. And while the Cowboys have a better record, I think the Rams are a better team. I think the Rams get it done at home. Cowboys will keep it close. Cowboys defense is decent, but there's just so many weapons on the Rams, on both sides of the ball. So that's why I've got LA going over Dallas. Sunday Night Football, the 2-2 Cincinnati Bengals taking on the 2-2 Baltimore Ravens. I have the Ravens going over because it's in Baltimore. The Bengals stumbling out of the gate 0-2, and then all of a sudden, the kitty has gone meow the last couple of weeks. But with Lamar Jackson, I think blowing that lead against Buffalo was devastating to them. Lamar Jackson throwing an interception on 4th and goal, I think it was extremely stupid for Coach John Harbaugh to even go for it on 4th down. Against a team like Buffalo, you kick a field goal, you take the points, and then trust in your defense to get the job done. They did not do that. Instead, Lamar throws an interception. Josh Allen marches down the field, and the Bills end up winning that game. Not saying that they wouldn't have won the game had the Ravens kicked the field goal, but it would have forced Buffalo to go for a touchdown for the win as opposed to a field goal. So I like the Ravens at home. I look for them to bounce back. Bengals are going to be right in the thick of things, but this first meeting again in Baltimore, the way Baltimore lost, it's hard to go against Baltimore. Monday Night Football, the 1-3 almost LA Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders taking on the 3-1 Kansas City Chiefs. I have the Chiefs going over in this game. The Raiders got their first win. That was one of the upsets I called, beating Denver last week. But I think with it being Monday night, prime time, it's in Kansas City. I don't go against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes in prime time in Kansas City, especially on a Monday night. I got the Chiefs going over. And the two games, I missed the noon games again. I apologize. I'm extremely tired. 3-1 Miami Dolphins taking on the 2-2 New York Jets. The Jets, another team I had upset last week. They did against Pittsburgh. They're hosting the Dolphins. A big part of me was tempted to take the Jets again, but I took the Dolphins in this game. Tua Tagovailoa, whatever the hell his name. I can't never say his last name. Horrifying situation last Thursday as he was tackled, and he was basically spiked onto the field, and he did that like his fingers just like I can't do what I don't want to mock it or mimic it, but that was a scary sight to see that unfold. Tua, not really sure exactly what all happened. So I guess he suffered a concussion in the previous week's game, and on 4 days, rest from suffering a concussion. For some odd reason, Miami's doctors cleared him. They never should have cleared him. They've already ruled Tua out for this game. Teddy Bridgewater is going to get the start for Miami in this game. Zach Wilson returned to the Jets. Actually caught a touchdown pass. And, the Jets are improving, but I think the Dolphins just have too many weapons. They've got Jalen Waddle. They've got Tyreek Hill. They've got Chase Edmonds. They got Mike Gesicki. They've got more weapons than the Jets do at this particular point in time. I think the Jets try to keep it close, but at the end of the day, I have Miami going. Best wishes to Tua. Again, scary situation to see. I never like to see anybody get hurt. I mean, injuries are part of football. That's just the reality of it all. But to see that unfold, that was hard to watch. That was very, very, very hard to watch. So thoughts, prayers, and love to Tua. And hopefully, depending on what happens, maybe he'll be back next week. But the other game that I missed, the 2-2 Atlanta Falcons taking on the 2-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Falcons are tied for first place. Who'd have thunk it? But they're tied with Tampa Bay. I got the Bucs going over. I just think overall the Buccaneers are the better team on paper and as far as everything else. So that being said, I've got Tom Brady and the Buccaneers going over. So out of order to recap, I have the Broncos over the Colts, the Packers over the Giants, the Bills over the Steelers, the Chargers over the Browns, Jacksonville over Houston, the Vikings over the Bears, the Lions over the Patriots. I have no idea why I just did everybody the secondary name, and I did Jacksonville and Houston. I'm tired. Vikings over the Bears, Lions over the Patriots, Seahawks over the Saints, Titans over the Commanders, 49ers over the Panthers, Eagles over the Cardinals, Rams over the Cowboys, Ravens over the Bengals, Chiefs over the Raiders, Dolphins over the Jets, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to defeat the Atlanta Falcons. There you have it, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm going to get off here, get something to eat, and I am going to go to bed. So, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. We're going to be doing some more Walking Dead here in the next couple of days. Going to get back into that and all that. Let me know what you think of the picks, and let me know whatever you want me to know. But anyway, guys, as always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.